Hi guys, welcome to the show. I'm Manny.
I'm Terrence.
And that's Aspen behind the camera, and here are the goods. We've been away a little bit, huh?
Yeah, a couple of different things that happened was you
moved,
becoming an adult is what we'll
I'm going through puberty again. Second coming to puberty here.
Yeah, and then
I found another curly hair, but I won't tell you where.
All right. And then obviously, as you guys have seen with some of our video postings, that we did the Wrestlemania event. So
Mania 32 in Dallas, amazing experience. We'll actually have a separate video for that, so keep an eye out for that, okay? But hey, let's get into some BVS news. Now we actually did not do a full review, but my good buddy here actually did a great job on reviewing it more or less. So it was, he pretty much said it all, so there was nothing really that we could really get into except that it was brought to me an idea of actually putting BVS as a you don't hate.
I can defend why you don't hate it. I can't defend why you should love it, but I can defend why you don't hate it.
Now it's gotten a lot of mixed reviews, and number one at the box office when it opened, grossing like $400+ million worldwide. With marketing, I guess the budget was about $400 million, so pretty much it was a hit from opening weekend.
Oh yeah.
And I lost a beer bet, so he actually won the amount it was going to make.
But we didn't bet on the second week because it took a 81% nosedive.
Bad. Now that was actually overseas, 68% in domestically, earning over $50 million on its second week. It did retain its top spot.
Yeah.
But you know what? Hey, freaking Zootopia's still there, man. Zootopia's doing really good, so that's awesome.
No other kids movies out, so
$680 million more or less worldwide already. So regardless of what the critics say, pretty much mixed when it comes to the fans, it's a hit.
Yeah, it's on track to still make $1 billion, and that's all they really need is to make $1 million to feel like it was a success, or at least to get them past the break-even point to where they'll feel justified to move forward with the Justice League and their whole slate of films. So as long as they at least don't lose money on this film, they're good to go.
Now the only problem that I had with it really is it just put too much in it. It was just too much, too fast. It didn't pace itself the way Marvel did with Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Thor, and so forth to get to Avengers. Mm-hmm. So to start out with the Groot movie before the split, I think that's that's.
But people were kind of kissing their behind about it. It was like, oh yeah, they're gonna be different than Marvel. They're just gonna give us a full Justice League right now, and it was like that's probably even better. That way we don't have to sit 6 years and wait on a movie. And then we get it, and now everybody is like.
I think maybe because we're already entering phase 3 of Marvel, and everybody's already used to the post-credit scenes. Everybody's already used to the build-up, the anticipation. That's why the Avenger movies are so special.
We know enough about the characters going into a film where we can put them together and not worry about, they didn't give this person enough screen time. We didn't give enough backstory to this particular person, because we've known about them in their own films that where. Heck, give me 5 minutes of screen time with somebody, and then okay, that's good enough. He got his quip in, and we laughed and we moved on. Like Falcon being in Ant-Man for 30 seconds. Because we already knew who Falcon was.
Yeah, and Chris Evans making an appearance in that post-credit scene also.
Yeah, exactly.
To set up Civil War. But back to DC. Now, the success of Batman vs Superman is obviously it's pretty much well documented, but so are the reviews. Because of these reviews, it was kind of like going back and forth on whether or not Justice League was in trouble, right?
Yeah.
And the way it looks right now is that it's going to actually start shooting April 11th.
But see, that was already planned. They were going to do back-to-back shootings, so that way it was going to save them money. They had everybody still nearby. They don't have to worry about people's schedules, bringing them back, trying to reorganize everything. Everything's still set up. You just go from kind of like how they did Lord of the Rings movies and the Hunger Game films, right. Where it was like, okay, yeah, we finished this one. We're going to start shooting on this one right away. Before this one's even in theaters, we're all ready to start shooting on the next one. So that's the way they were going to save money. Unfortunately, we still get Zack Snyder again for the Justice League film, which is maybe good or bad. Maybe he can take away from what didn't work in BVS and apply it to the Justice League. I think he painted himself into too many corners in BVS to where it can't be fixed. But eventually we'll get past it and we'll move on. We'll
do you blame Snyder or do you blame the studio heads?
I probably blame the studio heads for the Dawn of Justice part. Mm-hmm. I blame Snyder for, and spoiler warning, for the death of Superman.
I agree. I think that he was just getting too much from everywhere, and just didn't know what to do with it. If he would have consulted with maybe Frank Miller or somebody, I mean, it could have helped. From what I understand, they actually consulted Christopher Nolan, but I guess he didn't listen.
Well, I heard a little bit about the Christopher Nolan thing because he was a little worried about about Batman killing and stuff like that. But then, Christopher Nolan, he kind of killed people in the Christopher Nolan films. He kind of killed people.
Well, the Joker did.
Well, yeah.
Not Batman. But anyway.
He did some things and people died. I mean, he didn't outright kill them. He didn't pull a gun like in BVS, but, and that was some of the things. And what's the guy, from the original Batman films, the Keaton films, Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Tim Burton, he definitely killed people in the Tim Burton film.
So, yes, he did, especially the clown with the bomb in the, anyway.
With the bomb and the machine guns on the Batmobile, God.
So, the saving grace, as I said, Goods episode 3, go back and check it out. I said the saving grace was going to be Ben Affleck, and sure enough, that's exactly what he is in this movie, in Batman vs. Superman. So, because of this, it almost looks like the studio heads are kind of pushing forward with that, and they're going to make possibly the Batman solo movie in 2018, 2 years ahead of their schedule, because originally it was supposed to be 2020. But it looks like a Batman solo film will come out before Aquaman in 2018.
Okay.
And hopefully, that starts setting up some stuff for Justice League Part 2, because that's where Green Lantern actually is going to show up. He's not showing up in Part 1.
They have to fast track the Batman film because that was, like you said, was the saving grace of the film. They have to fast track this one. Wonder Woman's already on the way. Everything else that they showed us, outside of giving us a Man of Steel 2 film, it was like everything else really can wait.
And I'm glad you brought that up. Batman vs. Superman was actually going to be Man of Steel 2. But personally, and we talked about it before in other episodes, that they pushed the panic button, and that's why they threw Batman in there. So now, with the way the audience is, well, not really the audience, the critics are responding to this movie, and the steep drop in the second week, do you think that Man of Steel 2 is in trouble, or do you think they'll go for it?
Man of Steel 2 is in trouble just in general because of their slate. Somebody asked Zack Snyder in an interview about, now that you are getting ready to start production for Justice League, BVS is done, you're starting on Justice League, when are we going to get an announcement for Man of Steel 2? And he was like, well, because of their slate, we have to get through all those. I'm sorry, it wasn't Zack Snyder. They're asking somebody from DC and Warner Brothers, with the slate that we already have announced, we have to get through that first, and then we can talk about scheduling a Man of Steel 2. And then now with Batman being added on to it, so now we got to get through all these. So Man of Steel 2 is a long ways away, and I think that was probably something that they messed up with. When they changed this from Man of Steel and then said that, well, no, we'll still do another Man of Steel movie, they should have put it on the slate going forward, so that way they can have something going forward. Because by the time we get to it, we're going to have old Superman.
Very true. Now, it's a possibility that because they pushed Batman ahead of Aquaman, that maybe they'll push Man of Steel ahead of something too. I don't think a Cyborg movie. I think
ahead of Cyborg and ahead of Flash.
Exactly, because from what I understand, the Cyborg part of the story is actually going to start in the Flash. So Cyborg will be in Flash, and then I guess that's when it'll go. And I just realized something. Dyson from Terminator 2.
Yeah, he
created Cyborg 2. I thought we killed this guy. He's still creating Terminators. What's going on?
He's still creating Terminators, man. Obviously, we can't fix the timeline on that. James Cameron, come help us. Come help us.
Yeah, well,
come help DC too.
Yeah, we got 3 more years for Cameron to come back. Damn it. Anyway, all right. So good luck with that, DC. I hope everything works out on that. But people that do got their crap together is Marvel, and luckily for them, they acquired the rights to Spiderman from Sony for a little time anyway. And he'll be appearing on Captain America 3: Civil War.
All right.
Looks like Underoos is going to be picking Tony Stark's side. Yeah, because he did the whole thing with the shield and stuff. So
right, I mean that's how it is in the comic books too. So
yeah, so the solo film, Spider-Man, solo film. So we have a few titles, and I'm actually going to put it on Twitter so you guys can vote. So we'd like to know which ones that you like. So
I hate all these titles, by the way.
Yeah, Spider-Man: Homecoming, Spider-Man: Coming of Age.
It's a lot of coming in this.
Spider-Man: Greatness Awaits. It sounds like a damn PlayStation game.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man suspended. Since he's in high school, is he in detention or something?
Suspended from when?
School?
School? Really? all these titles suck.
These titles kind of do suck.
And I mean, what is it? It's because I think these came up because they started registering domain names.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, do you think that they did this to throw people off so that way you have no clue, and then they actually have the real title because they registered all these names, so now people will stop websites, the URL squatting, where people was like, oh, I'm gonna go get spidermanthemovie.com and pay it.
Right.
So that way,
right. I got you.
So do you think that they did all these so people would not do that, and then you wouldn't be looking for another title, kind of like how they did with 10 Cloverfield Lane, how it was under another name and then they changed it at the last minute? And you never knew what was coming because it was already listed under another name. So
I never saw it coming.
I never see it coming.
I think as of right now, I think Greatness Awaits is probably the closest.
Oh God! Just do Spectacular Spider-Man and get it over with already.
The closest, maybe, I don't know.
Spectacular Spider-Man, get it over with already. Ultimate Spider-Man, get it over with already. Now if they do that, then they have to do Miles Morales. So do Spectacular Spider-Man.
What's wrong with that?
No, because we already I'm part of that too. He's mixed. I'm part of that too. But we already went through this whole thing with if the next Spider-Man should be Miles Morales. That'll start it back up if they say Ultimate Spider-Man is the name of the movie, because then it'll start the whole firestorm of Miles Morales. So do Spectacular Spider-Man. Let's call it a day. Let's move forward.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. But hey, Deadpool news.
Okay.
Deadpool 2 starts shooting this fall.
Yeah.
Now this movie, $754 million worldwide, the highest grossing R-rated film of all time, beating The Matrix Reloaded. That's crazy, right?
It's not going to make $1 billion. I thought it was going to make $1 billion.
I told you it wouldn't, but you know what? Either way, it was a really big success, and it was so successful that they made a lot of companies that had studio properties, comic properties,
just change
the whole outlook of the comic book content. So, groundbreaking, just like we said it was going to be. And you know what? It's freaking awesome. Blu-ray May 10th.
Okay.
So I'm not too sure if there's going to be a director's cut on that, but either way, if it's unrated, at least I'm pretty sure that it's going to be pretty out there. Looking forward to the deleted scenes.
There's going to be tons of deleted scenes because they said they cut a lot of stuff out because they felt like they were beating things to death, especially on Green Lantern. They were just abusing Green Lantern. So I want to see all the deleted scenes that they have, and it's all the jokes that we didn't get to hear.
And I was going to say, and the gag reel. I want to see the gag reel. That's about the biggest thing.
Oh, and even TJ Miller said it's like some of my jokes or some of the jokes that we were doing. It was like they were like, okay, you went too far. So I'm dying to hear how they went too far.
Oh man, it's gonna be freaking amazing. I'm still debating on whether or not who's gonna be Cable. You guys voted for Mel Gibson, but I would love to see Mel Gibson be Cable. So I don't know, but
that would be funny. And I'm not sure if it's on the slate or not because I just heard they announced the next X Universe movie. Instead of it being X-Force, it's actually going to be New Mutants, and that's where Deadpool first appeared.
And Brianna Hildebrand is supposed to be in that, isn't she? Negasonic Teenage Warrior.
I'm not sure if that. I didn't hear that part.
Because I remember her picture was actually next to the caption of New Mutants, the article. So who knows? Maybe she will, maybe she won't.
I mean, that was the dawn of X-Force anyway. So he debuted in New Mutants, and New Mutants became X-Force. So instead of them skipping it and going to X-Force straight away, they're actually gonna kind of follow stories and stuff. So that's really, really cool. And it gives them more of a chance to introduce some of the characters in X-Force that were part of the staples of the X-Force team that also started from New Mutants, like your Domino, like your Cannonball, like your Forge and stuff like that. So
not bad. But either way, it's going to be freaking awesome, especially if they go ahead with the rated R rating and they hit the ground running. It's going to be freaking awesome. It's going to be awesome. I want to go through some Hollywood news. Now we've been preparing for for Mania and all that stuff, so we were kind of off a week or so. But some stuff happened while we were away, and we hadn't get a chance to talk about it.
All right, like.
Cat Williams picked a fight with a 7th grader and loses.
Okay, so they
What the hell was that?
they updated that story. Now, when it was first released, it was a 7th grader. Which when they showed the video, he actually
It was a 6th grader.
No. he actually turned out to be 17.
That doesn't make things any
It doesn't make it much better. It turned out he was 17, and from the extended video, he didn't pick the fight, but he was being annoying, and Kat didn't handle it the right way. It was like, if he's being annoying, look, get in your car, go home, walk away, do some other stuff. 17-year-old, he's still a kid, you're in your 40s. And obviously the 17-year-old kid took a punch well, and it's like you throw a punch at a kid, regardless, it's still out of line. But that it makes it sound a little better to say, he was 17, which he was almost adult, as opposed to punching some middle schooler.
Well, the 17-year-old was actually held back, so he actually was 7th grader.
Hey, it might have been. It might have been. But yeah, so poor Kat, man.
When I read that the first time, I was like, how you pick a fight with a kid?
Hey, that was the story at first, and it still don't make it. It made it a little better that you lost to a 17-year-old. I made a little bit. You still got your head whooped.
Exactly. Money Mike, what's up? All right,
together, Kat.
Michelle Rodriguez.
Oh, okay. Fast and Furious.
Says she is jealous that Paul Walker died first.
What?
Yeah.
In the movie or in life?
In life. There was a documentary that she was on, from what I understand, and she actually said that she actually said some other insane things, but
taken out of context.
I have no idea.
The unedited interview,
not. I hope not. I hope not. I mean, that was pretty freaking awful.
That had to be taken out of context.
I hope so.
Maybe if she was talking about in the timeline of the movie, I'm kind of jealous that his character died before my character, but technically her character did die before his.
But his character didn't die.
Oh, that's right. His character was still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive.
That's right.
I don't know. So I hope that's not true. That's goes in there with freaking James Smith, Cat Williams, and the freaking iceberg prop hitting a horse.
The ice.
Fast 8. Man. I'm curious. I'm curious of Fast 8 now. What else is going to go on in there?
Man. All right.
So BVS is going strong, regardless of all of the drops and declines and all that. The audience love it. They're taking their kids. The kids are loving it. And made me think of verses, made me think of fights. So I threw it on the poll and let you guys vote on our next top 5. And y'all voted for the top 5 best fight scenes. Top 5 now. So our top 5 today, like I said, is going to be the top 5 fight scenes in cinema. Voted by us, but the top 5 was actually voted by you. So there's a ton of fight scenes. And there's some honorable mentions, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Terrence! Go first!
By the way, this is my top 5. Let's just throw that out there. This is my top 5. You guys have your own top 5. You please put in the comments what your top 5 is. It's my top 5.
Hey, the viewers out there have been giving you a lot of noise about your top 5s lately.
It's okay. I like criticism, and I like to hear what you guys have for top 5. So, I mean, I'm not saying my top 5 is perfect, and a lot of times I pick my top 5 based on because I don't want to duplicate his list as well, because we have a lot of the same likes and stuff. So I want to give something that's a little bit different. So, on to my top 5. Number 5. The Karate Kid. Now, you said the Karate Kid had a lot of fights. Final fight.
With him and Johnny?
Yes! Dude, what made that fight so great is the tension that was built up in that fight, and the fact that Johnny whooped hit the whole fight. And he got by on one kick. One kick. Johnny messed up and gave him a point, and when he broke his leg, yeah, he was giving him points. So he won a fight with one kick.
I would have gone with the kid from part 3.
I hate that.
Because you're Karate Age.
Hey, Ralph. I do like that part. Ralph Macchio was out of shape for that one. I don't give him that. But the whole tension with Cobra Kai yelling in the background and Mr. Miyagi looking on.
Yeah.
That made that scene great. All right. So number 4. If you guys are aware of a movie called Fist of Legend, which was a remake of the Chinese Connection, with Jet Li, the dojo scene. When he goes, when they were like, he finally shows up and they were like, you know, our teacher went over there and he lost a match against their master, and he didn't seem like he was on his best day, and we haven't done anything since then. And Jet Li walks in, he has a BMF look, walks in, takes his shoes off, takes his belt off, and then starts whooping butt all through the dojo. And when he gets done, as he whooped everybody, he looks at him and he was like, my master would have beat y'all in seconds. It was the best scene. All right, so number 3, the Kill Bill Volume 1 was the Crazy 88 scene. When she has to hack through.
But she's using a sword. It's not hand to hand.
I didn't say hand to hand. It said fight scene. It was a fight scene.
All right.
It was a fight scene. There was fighting in the scene. They fought with swords.
It's a good scene. Don't get me wrong.
They fought
of course,
with
she pays homage to the great one. So
yeah, I mean, so they fought with swords, and then it ended with the whole I'm gonna say not Yo-Yo. Goodness, what was her name? I just forgot it. Don't you do that?
Red ink. I don't know. I can't remember. We're gonna red ink it. We'll red ink it.
Oh my God, I can't believe I remember.
All right.
So it ends with that, with the whole ball and chain and stuff like that. It made the scene so super awesome. All right, okay. So number 2 is the subway scene between Neo and Agent Smith.
The subway scene.
Yeah.
I would have gone Reloaded with him.
No, it got goofy and I got goofy and then it was
cool though.
It was CGI heavy. It doesn't even hold up now. They all look like rubber wax freaking Play-Doh figures. That doesn't even hold up anymore. All right, so the subway scene is when they were still doing proper practical effects. You know, the whole when he was like, I'm not running. I'm gonna stand here and fight. And yeah, there's a rooftop scene, but that's not really a fight scene when he does a little Matrix, little bend over backwards. The fight scene was the subway scene, and that was the best thing. And then, you know, throwing them in the trains and lifting them up, that made that scene awesome.
What about the Reloaded Rain in the Rain Revolutions?
No.
All right.
Matrix 1 is the only good Matrix. I'm sorry, I'm a Matrix fan, but that's the only good one. Number 1. And what's funny is that I'm picking this one, even though it pays homage to Old Boy, and I'm not picking Old Boy because this one pays homage to Old Boy, but this one did it better, and everybody is now copying this scene, which copied Old Boy, which was the hallway scene in Raid. And I was watching it again today, and it is so brutal. It is so brutal. It got that whole brutality from Old Boy because he has to walk down the scene and he has to keep taking on these guys in the hallway. But they keep getting up and it's just a long extended fight as he's trying to make it down this hallway. Well, in the Raid, he is just slicing through people, like breaking bones, driving his little blade into people and ripping it out, and it was like, and he goes to about like 30 people going down this hallway. That is why that's the best one. And I know people love the little driving scene from the Raid Redemption, which was a really, really cool driving scene in the kitchen scene. But this one, there's not a better scene than this one. That number 1 is why we talked about Raid and why it even got a sequel. That's my top 5. I don't care if you don't like it or not. But that's mine.
I got a 1 for you. No. All right. My top 5. Now, I was like really conflicted on this one. And this is just me. But I am not a big Jean-Claude Van Damme fan. Okay, that's number.
And I didn't put JCVD is not even on my list.
JCVD is not even on his list, but
my heart is hurting for not putting
he's actually on mine. And I was going back and forth between Bloodsport and Kickboxer, but the Bolo fight in Bloodsport was just freaking. He was awesome as Frank Dukes, and I thought that maybe even his acting was a little better than Kickboxer, and Kickboxer came out after Bloodsport. But
he had less lines in Bloodsport.
That's probably why.
He had a whole scene where he was running through traffic, he basically had a Beverly Hills Cop scene in Bloodsport when he did the whole thing running from the cops. Oh yeah, through the traffic, and that went on for like 2 minutes, and he didn't say a word, so he had less dialogue in that movie.
But you know what? It was a freaking awesome fight. It was an awesome fight. Actually, a lot of the fights in the Kumite were pretty sweet, but that one just sticks out for me. Number 4. I don't care what you say. Steven Seagal out for justice in the bar. I'm gonna come.
I love that fight.
I'm gonna keep coming back until somebody remembers saying Richie. I can't wait. I love that movie. I love that scene. He was freaking awesome. Every freaking part of that fight scene was just freaking sweet. Number 3.
That fucking scene.
No, number 3, Rocky 3. The freaking last fight when he's got Apollo's trunks was freaking awesome. The whole I know it goes 3 rounds. I know it's a little freaking cartoony here and there, but the theatrics about the movie, the camera work towards the end.
That's the only thing I didn't like about that.
I freaking loved it because it put you in the ring. It put both guys, because they were both hardcore competitors, and it just showed the strength and determination between the two. It was just it got me pumped up. It was awesome. I love that movie.
It made you feel like you were playing Mike Tyson Punch Out.
No, you're crazy. Number 2.
Body blow.
Now in Terrence's opinion, this is actually an overrated fight scene.
Right.
But for me,
It is.
But for me, the fight scene between Roddy Piper and Keith David in They Live is an awesome, brutal, and funny ass fight scene. It is freaking awesome. It doesn't even look like there's any
trash can.
It doesn't look like there was any real choreography. It was just in your face street fight. It was just as real as it gets.
I will give it to him. It seemed like 2 people could be fighting in it, but when they went to the trash can, I was done.
I don't care. It was freaking awesome. I love that. I love that fight scene.
Got cartoony there, and I was like, yeah, all right.
Now, number 1 belongs to the master. Now, Jet Li might have done it in Fist of Legend. Little homage in The Raid. You're number 1 because that's a little game of death type of. You really think about it?
Oh yeah, well, and in The Raid because they went up a building and he had to go through the floors and stuff like that. Yeah.
So I can only be talking about one, and that's the master, Bruce Lee. Chinese Connection, practically the same scene.
Fist of Legend is Chinese Connection.
Fist of Legend is Chinese Connection, but the way he did it, it was just amazing. And I was going back and forth between that and the Chuck Norris fight in Way of the Dragon, Return of the Dragon. But that fight scene with that school, he was just freaking amazing. The only thing that was kind of goofy about it was when he picked up the 2 guys, and he was swinging them, and he didn't wait, and then he threw them. That was the only dumb part of it. But other than that, it was just beautiful. He looked great, graceful, just like a freaking dancer, man.
Yeah,
ballet in this movie.
That movie is awesome, especially when he jumps up and he kicks the Japanese sign and he breaks it. Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, the Big Boss, man. That was a good show too.
Hey, and like you said, honorable mentions is
honorable mentions.
Yeah,
so you go first.
Chuck Norris and Bruce and Return of the Dragon.
Return of the Dragon. Chuck, that was a good one.
The way it was shot, I mean, it felt old westy. When it was like
Coliseum. They're in the Coliseum.
Yeah, they're in the Coliseum with the cat starting to fight, stuff like that, and he grabs the chest hair.
I also had Die Hard with Bruce Willis and Alexander. He plays Carl. He plays Carl with John McClane, and Carl are fighting, and he wraps a chain around his neck and throws him, and he's just hanging there. Do you remember?
Yeah, okay.
That fight scene was pretty freaking good.
I was like, who did he fight? He shot everybody.
And then I had Brandon Lee in Rapid Fire.
Oh, that is a good one.
When he was fighting the brother with the Asian guy with the beard, and he grapples if you haven't seen Rapid Fire, that awesome. When he grapples the chains and he spins with the chains, and he's grappling the fence. He's grappling the fence. Remember?
Awesome. In that same, but it wasn't a fight scene. It was just kind of more of an action piece when he was with the shotgun. And he had to run through, and he was like flipping and like taking people out with the shotgun.
I saw that not too long ago. It's freaking. It's an awesome movie.
I'm trying to think of because I had so many, and it was really really tough to do different. But one of them, and like you said, I'm a Jean-Claude Van Damme fan. And one of the ones that it's kind of near and dear to my heart is the Double Impact scene where JCVD versus JCVD. Slick back versus Ponytail.
Yeah, what's funny you say that we were talking about Toretto versus Xander Cage, and so maybe it could happen. We get the
hey, they are JCVD already did it. Let's see him do it. All right. Yeah. So that was my other honorable mention. There was a lot of other great scenes. A lot of Enter the Dragon. When he has to fight. What is the guy who leads? Yeah, Han. When he has to fight Han, Han has the blades on and stuff, and he has to walk through the little.
Hey, how about this? Anything with Bruce Lee in it.
Anything with Bruce Lee in it.
It's an honorable mention. That's all I gotta say about that. That's awesome. Hey, we want to hear your top 5 best fight scenes. Doesn't matter what it is. Even animation. Hey, throw in some animation.
Oh, see, you didn't even tell me that. I've thrown in some really good ones. There's a lot of anime that's out there that's really awesome fight scenes.
So yeah, put your comments below. Hit us up on Twitter with your favorite top 5. Before we go real quick, just want to do a shout out. R.I.P. Rest in peace to Mr. Eric Bowersfeld, who voiced Admiral Akbar.
Yes.
It's a trap. Iconic line.
It is.
Iconic line, using a lot of memes and it's iconic. So rest in peace, sir. Prayers to family and friends and all that good stuff. And,
that's very sad. We won't see him in episode 8.
Yeah, we won't see him in episode 8. We'll see the character probably just voiced by somebody else.
That's sad.
Another thing, I just want to shout out to our good friend Prince Solomon, who did an amazing video on us called Get the Goods. It's got over 200 plus hits, and we appreciate it. Our subscription actually went up after he put that up. So Prince, awesome, man. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Always, man. Anything we can do to help out, let us know.
Definitely, and you guys check him out. He's freaking awesome too. There's a shout out for me. Shout out for my boy here, putting us in our new studio.
Oh yeah, we didn't introduce the new studio.
Yeah, we didn't introduce a new studio. This is called the Boom Boom Room.
The Boom Boom.
The Boom Boom Room. And for all y'all that are throwing dislikes and calling us names, you ain't invited. You ain't getting in the Boom Boom Room. Terrence, take us home.
All right, so as always, we want to make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Definitely like the likes, definitely likes the comments. Really like the subscribes. But if you're gonna comment, or if you want to have something to say about the video, please put it down there so that way I'll answer it. Manny will answer it, and let us know if you disagree with the top 5, what your top 5 is, because that way we can have a debate. We can talk about it. Because a lot of times, last week when we did it, I was like, oh man, you're right, I forgot that one. Oh man, you're right, I forgot that one. And we came up with a whole new top 5 list in the comments. So definitely I want to hear from you guys. Other than that, we'll put links to other videos in like I said, we just went to Wrestlemania, so we'll put links to that, and you'll be able to watch our trip out there. That's all I got.
Awesome. Marshall, just for you, I counted 33 times that I said frickin' on For Love of the Mic. That was just for you. For Aspen, I'm Manny.
Terrence.
And that was the goods. I'm Manny.
Terrence.
And we're coming to you live from the Boom Boom Room.
I love that name.
Hey, so we got freaking an awesome show to be tonight. We're gonna what the hell was number 2? Just show you some behind the scenes of fan access. So on Wrestlemania, this is an amazing show. And we talked to a couple of fans out there. Talked to some superstars. Freaking Dallas. Let's talk about the show. WrestleMania 32 with record